The victory is already ours. All we have to do is endure. Now, today we're going to be talking about endurance, enduring to the end, but also we're going to be talking about the importance of storytellers and what their role is in our community, and connect that back to enduring. So make sure you tune in. Peace. Oh, how y'all doing? Hey, so today we're gonna be talking about endurance. I made it to day 5, family. Food wise, I'm cool. I'm cool. You know, as I said on morning, on the first part of this, food wise, I'm cool, but my body just don't feel right. And I don't know if you ever been through this, man, but do something like this, just like it's not operating. My eyes is fall. We spoke about it, right? But today, what I wanted to get at you, I want to get this at you real quickly and real clearly, right? Last night, I was thinking about what to discuss today, and I did this piece for those that signed up for G&J updates about endurance, because usually what I do is for the updates I kind of briefly give them a little bit of what I'm going to do in the morning, so they get the advanced piece, right? They get to think about it, right? And I'm inviting all of you to the G&J update. All you gotta do is subscribe on Gumroad. Is gum.co/G&J update. G&J update. And you be able to keep up with me on the fast, and like I said, some of the struggles and stuff, because we spoke about the bitter, right? And I just looked on my timeline and I didn't share that one. That's why I didn't get that many views, because usually, there's a certain amount of views that I can expect, and if I share. Now, if I don't share, it's gonna get the hardcore, right? Like some of y'all, it's gonna get the hardcore. But if I share it, more people check it out. And I talked about embracing the power of bitter, right? The strong bad taste that I don't even want to call it bad, right? But when I'm reading these folk tales, I told you I'm going through a new one right now. Of course, we're gonna get back to folk tales for grown folks and finish up on Aesop's fables. But then there's other African folk tales, man. And one of the things that I'm seeing in these folk tales is the motif of weak, the small, overcoming the strong and the big, right? And I can't help but to take this as a message from our ancestors, right? Letting us know, like I call it, like I keep on telling you, it's crystallized wisdom. It's always, most time it's always about the small overcoming the weak. You know what I'm saying? It's like, boom, this little thing is being oppressed, and this little thing outsmarts the big thing that's oppressing it, right? We could look at the Anansi tales. We could look at brother or Brer Rabbit. You know what I'm saying? We could look at the whole piece about the enduring piece, about continuing the struggle, moving on the turtle and the hare from Aesop. There's a few other Aesop stories where it's about this whole endurance piece, and we are being primed. These stories are preparing us for life. They're teaching us to endure. See now, and I know some of you are like, well, what does enduring have to do with outsmarting your competition, outsmarting your enemy, outsmarting those that will try to take from you? When you are in a position that, for example, in the story I read yesterday, it was called Monkey Steals a Drum. The monkey was at a severe disadvantage, right? The story that I did right before that was called the three questions, or is it the three tasks? The three tests, my fault. The three tests was about somebody that was totally powerless in a position that had to outsmart somebody else. All right? And we constantly run into these stories, and I know y'all like, what it got to do with enduring? I mean, it got to do with you being able to use your wits, but not only just you using your wits, but you being able to keep your wits. Because the issue is that when you read these type of stories, what you see is that the hero, who may have done something wrong in the first place, right? Who may have done something wrong in the first place, right? Because now what? All right, we got a whole bunch of stuff we got to cover, family, all right? Because they may have done something wrong in the first place, but they had a need that they had to have it fulfilled. And when they initially took or do the action that they do, they already got set in their mind that they're ready to endure the hardship, right? So now you have these animals like the monkey and the leopard, the hare and the tortoise, the three tests, and Nancy versus leopard. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got a little spider versus all these big things, and the spider always outsmart these individuals and get what they want. Now, I want you to understand that usually it's like an underdog that's reaching out, grabbing more than he's supposed to have. I want y'all to think about that, right? Reaching out, grabbing more. He or she or it believes that it deserves more, so it reaches out and takes. All right, its perception of itself is expanded beyond our perception of itself. Because when you look at some of the stories and be like, fuck a rabbit. What the rabbit need with that? You know what I'm saying? What the rabbit need with that? You know what I'm saying? What the monkey need with that? What coyote need with that? You know what I'm saying? What does a spider need with that? Right? But we got these individuals who, in a sense, because of who they are overlooked, are disrespected, deciding that they want to make their reality bigger. Sound familiar? Who decided they want to control their reality, and they use their mind. Now, this is what I mean about, keeping their wits. They, in the beginning, I don't even know if it's in the beginning, but at some point during the story, the hero in these folktales, the hero, the underdog, decides on a strategy and rides this strategy all the way through. Even if the strategy means suffering, even if the strategy means pain, right? They play it all the way out. They don't stop just because they suffer. They don't try to run just because. You know what I'm saying? No. They play it all the way out. Now, for example, you'll hear stories like with the monkey one, right? Monkey allowed himself to be tied up and thrown up and down. You know what I'm saying? Thrown high up in the air, and he would come down crashing to the ground until eventually the leopard, in his arrogance, threw him up in the air in a precise place that monkey wanted to be thrown in, right? And monkey ended up being victorious. He got to keep the drum, as well as he escaped and made leopard look like a fool again. And see, and then also, I want y'all to understand this. The victories that came about for these beings, for these individuals, for these underdogs, was more of a mental victory over the aggressor, right? Over the bigger character, right? It was more of a mental chess piece where I beat you. You know what I'm saying? I beat you. There's no way I should have beat you, but I beat you, right? So it's like a mental hold over that individual. And it's like, yo, fam, we be looking for, like I said earlier, we be looking for this grandiose shit, right? You know, we need to, I ain't gonna say tone the vision down, but we need to be strategic about the victories we get because they always start off small. See, Anansi, right? When we look at Anansi the spider, Anansi got all the stories, right? People don't even understand the power of that. We got this little spider who has been given the power of stories. This means he's in charge of all stories, which means that when you really look at it, Anansi is a prophet because Anansi got all the stories. Anansi ain't just get the stories for that time. Anansi has all the stories. So this means Anansi could tell stories from the future or Anansi could tell stories from the past because all the stories passed through him. Minor character would appear to be minor. Has inherited a great responsibility, right? Because of his wits, right? Now, same with you. Family, the victory is already yours. The victory is already yours. You know what I'm saying? You just have to endure. You just have to trust the process. You just have to stick it out. And I know some of y'all is like, well, I'm in a bad, and I'm not necessarily, this is not relationship advice. This is for when you run up against those moments where you have to use your strategy to overcome. You know what I'm saying? When, like, for example, you have plotted out a course for your business. You have plotted out a course for your education. You have plotted out a course for your career and the moves you want to make in a career. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about a relationship, long-standing relationships or new relationships like that, romantic stuff. I'm not talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Because enduring in those situations is a totally different thing because sometimes we take too much enduring in those situations. But in the situations where we are the nuncies, in those situations where we are the brer rabbits or the sister rabbits, in those situations where we are the turtle and we're going up against the hare, right? We got to stick to our strategy. I ain't saying that we don't pivot. Every now and then we might need to pivot, but we need to stick to our strategy. We need to endure. Why? Because what starts to happen is, especially when we go up against the competition, leopard, tiger, bear, elephant, all of them always underestimate. Always underestimate. And over, how can I put it? They trust in themselves too much. Arrogance. Arrogance precedes the fall. See, in the situation we in America, family, we need our enemy to feel as arrogant as they wanna. Why? Arrogance precedes the fall. And we need to be able to use that. Like Anansi would use that. Like Monkey would use that. Like Brer Rabbit would use that. But we can't do it because most of us don't know the damn stories. We're not taking it. We haven't taken the time. We didn't get that part of our education. And they're not going to give it to you in school. And they're not going to give it to your kids in school. You know what I'm saying? We need to, one, start becoming culturally appropriate. Like, for example, during Kwanzaa celebrations, you know what I'm saying? We need to have a storytelling session. You know, hell. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just during Juneteenth, you know what I'm saying? During our holidays, we need to start having individuals introducing the community to these stories, because you could shorten some of these stories. Monkey was long as hell. The Monkey Still the Drum was long as hell. I could have made it a lot shorter. But that's what storytellers do, right? It is a cultural necessity to have storytellers within our midst. Every organization, especially if it's about African, about black folks here in America, right, needs to have a storyteller. That needs to be a position. That needs to be a paid position. Why? Because the storyteller can always remind us where we came from and always remind us of where we're going. Anansi, once again, I tell you, Anansi received all stories. Anansi just didn't receive the stories of the past. Anansi received the stories of the future. That griot, that storyteller, right, is the opener of the way for us. And since we neglect that, we are practicing culturally inappropriate behavior. In every black organization, there needs to be a storyteller. Every black one. Start off the board meetings, quick story. Right? Start off a staff meeting, story. You know what I'm saying? Open a community meeting, story. Stories put us in a certain frame. They put us in a certain mind frame, right? And it gets us prepared for what's coming. You know what I'm saying? It gives us lessons. It gives us crystallized wisdom so that we can always embrace that. But we're not getting that unless we're watching, you know what I'm saying, we're watching TV. But a lot of times we miss the message because it's not shooting for us. We get my fault, we do get the message because they are having stuff that's pointed for us, but the lessons we need to get, we don't. Family, the victory is already ours. We just have to endure. We just have to endure. You know? And it's like, you know, I know some of y'all talking about waiting, Brother Hatim? Talking about patience has always been part of the strategy. I'm waiting for the trap to be sprung, my friend. I'm waiting for that victory kick. Right? You know, so I want to toast all of y'all. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I'm not feeling at 100% today. I'll put that in my journal. But we are on day 5. And yeah, we on day 5, family. Can y'all dig that? Day 5. And yeah, we on day 5. Make sure I got the right paper. Nia. As y'all see, I'm filling out my you see it? 21 day Nguzo Saba challenge sheet. You can fill this out on computer. I'm doing it written so that I can, be a little bit more intimate with it. Now, I have to do my system work today. I haven't completed my system stuff today because I don't have to rush out the door like I usually do. But endure. So if you have a black organization, if you have an African organization, if you have a Kemetic organization, if you have a Moorish organization, if you have a Hebrew organization, anything with people like us, family, you need to push to have a griot, storyteller, right? Because they remind us, they set, because we used to tell stories before we went to war. Hell, we used to tell stories before we, you know what I'm saying, long before the battles even started, right? Like, for example, man, I was thinking, because avian come from the French Alps, right? And I asked yesterday, I said, I wonder if these is the same Alps that Hannibal went through, and I think they are, right? Because there's only, Alps, although they're in several countries, I think, only one Alp, right? So, Hannibal, for those that don't know, stormed through Rome and Italy for over 20 years, right? Kicking ass, But of course, one of those 7 passions, those 7 unbalanced passions hit his people, which we have to be very careful. Those 7 unbalanced passions always fuck up our shit, right? So we need to learn how to balance out those passions, right? And Hannibal had to leave up out of Italy, But regardless, Hannibal, whole life, according to what I read, was influenced by a story that his father told him. Did you hear me? One of the greatest generals in the world, whole life revolved around a story that his father told him. Alexander the Macedonian, right? Whole life, whole quest was trying to fulfill a story that he had been told. Napoleon's whole life had been shaped around trying to live out a story that he was told. Hopefully you see where I'm getting at, right? See, I apologize. Alexander wasn't worried about the end because he already had the end here. He knew that the victory was already his. He just had to endure. Hannibal, right, didn't have to stress, worry about it. He just had to endure, right? Even if we go to Napoleon, just had to endure. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the end may not always fit how we visualize it, but the end always works out for us, family, right? And our people have been motivated by stories, by narratives for a very long time. Very long time. So in every organization, we need to have a storyteller. And I think that would cut down a lot of fuckery. I think that would cut down, because the storyteller has the permission to keep it real. The storyteller has the right to pull out stories and is able to tell stories about situations without necessarily making somebody feel bad, right? Because have you ever, I know some of y'all been to church and you walk in and the pastor don't know you from Adam, but it feel like the pastor talking about you and you have to kind of look around and make sure that everybody ain't looking at you, because the man is so good with his storytelling. Because basically that's what preaching is. It's storytelling, right? Because stories ain't just about going down the line and reading the thing. It's about extracting the wisdom and sharing the wisdom and making the wisdom personal, right? So family, we just have to endure. That's it. That's it. The battle is yours, right? Now, learn to tell your story. Get you a storyteller in your clique, in your tribe, so that you can hear the truth indirectly, right? Because a storyteller can find a story about infidelity. A storyteller can find a story about stealing. A real storyteller can cleverly let people know when there's inappropriate behaviors going on, and remind everybody what the consequences are by using animals, by using other people, and reminding our people constantly about culturally appropriate behaviors. Alright? So, I kind of got off the endure thing. But hey, it is what it is. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in. This is Brother Tim. And I'm going to lay it back down. Then I'm going to get up and watch these bottles and bottle up this Ambrosia for those. Of course, the experimental ones and stuff like that. Stay with me. I'm going to sip on. I'm going to sip on down the road. Come on. Sip on down the road. Peace. Thank you for watching the video. I want you to subscribe. Click the bird right there, the fiery bird. And I also have a special video just for you, right there. And for those that want more information about Nyame Journey, go to our site. It should be right about there.